Well, hello. We've been talking a lot about slope and coordinates and y-intercepts over the past few lessons in math. Now, we've learned how to write an equation of a line by using the y-intercept. Today we're going to learn how to do the same thing, only we're going to write this equation without using a y-intercept. Instead, we are going to use something called the point slope form. Now, this is where we can use the slope of a line and any point on the line to write and graph an equation of that line. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the point slope form looks like. Well, it's set up as such. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, the y1 and the x1 are the coordinates that are given. And the m represents the slope. So let's see how we would take some information and use this equation to come up with our point slope form. So let's say we were given that a line passes through point -3, 6 and has a slope of -5. Well, what we would do is we would plug this information into our our point slope form to write an equation for that line. So, let's see. If we have y minus the y coordinate we know, which is 6, equals our slope, -5, times x minus -3. Now we can go ahead and simplify this so we have our equation written. Now, what it would be is as follows. We would have y minus 6 equals -5 times x, and then when you subtract a negative, it turns into a positive, so x plus 3. And here we have successfully written an equation for a line that passes through point -3, 6 with a slope of 5. Now, how would we go about graphing it? That's an excellent question. Well, let's do that now. All right, so our equation was y minus 6 equals -5 times x plus 3. All right, so what we have to do is look back at our formula and what we have here. So we were told that since our point is -3, 6, what we're going to do is make our first point. So we're going to extend that out. So we're going to go over -3 and up 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and make our point. That's the point we were given. Now we can use our slope to help us finish this line. So, if our slope's -5, we're going to go down 5 and over 1 and make a coordinate. And we're going to go down 5 again and over 1. Oh, looks like we're not going to be able to do that, so let's go the opposite direction. Let's go up 5 and to the left 1. Now we can go ahead and connect the dots. And we have successfully graphed that equation written in point form, point slope form. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, so let's say we were given an equation that looked like this. Y minus 1 equals 2/3 times x minus 2. Well, since our formula is y minus y1 equals our slope times x minus x1, here we have our coordinates. We have our coordinates are going to be positive 2, 1, because as you can see, the subtraction sign wasn't affected by a negative integer here, so our numbers are going to remain positive, and our slope is what we're multiplying by the x minus 2, so that's going to be, our slope would be 2 over 3. So now we can take that information and go ahead and graph this line. So we're going to go over 2 and up 1. That'll be our first point. And then since our slope's positive, we're going to go up 2 over 3. Up 2 again over 3. And we can go ahead and create our line. So we have successfully graphed this line using our point slope form. All right, now let's say we were given 2 points on the line and we were asked to go ahead and write an equation using our point slope form. Well, we could do that. The first thing we'd want to do is think about how to find the slope. And we know that slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's the first thing we would need to find, is find our slope. So let's do that. If we were to do that, we would have 8 minus 3 over 8 minus 4. And when we complete that, our slope would be 5 over 4. So we found our slope, which is the first thing we needed to do. The next thing we need to do is take one of our points and use those coordinates in our equation. So let's go ahead and pick this point down here. So we would have y minus 3 equals 5 over 4 times x minus 4. And now we have successfully created an equation using the point slope form by taking 2 coordinates, finding the slope, and then plugging in one of the point's coordinates. Okay, now the final thing we're going to do is write an equation using the point slope form by using a table. So let's take a look at a table here. Let's say we have time, and we'll represent that with an x, and altitude. And we'll represent that with a y. All right. So if we have this, and this is representing a hot air balloon's descent, our time's going to be in seconds. So we have 10, 30, 70, 90, and our altitude is 640, 590, 490, 440, we can take this information and find out the rate it's moving, or its slope, if you will. So, the first thing we want to do is take two of our x coordinates, or two of our times here. So we'll do 10 and 30, and we'll do x2 minus x1, and we'll subtract that with its corresponding altitude, which would be 590 minus 640. Now, when we subtract those together, 590 minus 640 is going to be 50 over 20, which could be simplified since we have a ratio here to 2.5, or 2.5. Now, this negative 2.5, because that's negative 50. Now, this slope is telling us that we have a negative slope, which makes sense since the balloon is descending, it's going down. Now we can take our slope, which is negative 2.5, and plug it into our point slope form to create our equation. So, if we had y minus 640 equals negative 2.5 times x minus 10, we have successfully put that into the point slope form. Now we can even take it one step further and put it into the slope y-intercept form. To do that, we would need to use the distributive property. So we'd have y minus 640 equals negative 2.5 times x, which is negative 2.5x, plus 25. And then we would add 640 to each side, and we would get y equals negative 2.5x plus 665. Now we have our y-intercept, which would be 665. That's where the balloon started. And we have our descent of negative 2.5. All right, so I do have a little bit of homework for you. I'd like you to do pages 318 to 319, and go ahead and try 8 through 20 all. And we'll do a little bit more practicing with this tomorrow. Thank you and have a great day.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.